tap in. Tap, tap, 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 tap in.
Welcome to the TT from the D podcast show, everybody. Happy Tuesday, y'all. It's Tap In Tuesday. I got a lot going on today. Let me just say that. I say that humbly. I say that respectfully. I'm super excited. It's been an amazing day. It's been very busy. However, oh my God, let me just tell y'all, and I know we all go through some things, right? I'm over here. Shout out to everybody that's on Instagram. Tanya, hello, Queen. How are you? For all the people that's all over, whether you are on YouTube, if you are on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, through StreamYard, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Normally, y'all know we go live at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Tap In Tuesday. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do Tap In Tuesday, but I'm like, I got to show up for my people, right? And so I had an amazing day. You do your normal 9 to 5, and then you do what your gift is. And so one day I'll just do my gift all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? But in the meantime, we do what we need to do in the world. And so shout out to Christina Benjamin, an amazing moment that we shared. We many hours of doing what we needed to do for something amazing that she's working on. Branding. Let me just say that branding is everything. Okay, I got her shirt. This is her rep. This is her brand. Let me stand up, show y'all. Right. Styles by Christina. Amazing. She's an amazing um, artist, creator, influencer, stylist, you name it. Artist, amazing. Love her to pieces. And it's one of those, I can say this. Christina Benjamin is one of the very first artists outside of my husband, Swifty McVeigh, that I had the opportunity of being an artist assistant for. So I'm loyal, I'm dedicated, and she's my very first artist, right? And so if you know, I still work for Courtney Benjamin, which is her husband. And I'm his executive assistant for their label. And so it's just like when she's in town and she's doing some business and some work, I'm like, where you need me, what you need, what we doing. And so shout out to Jan, her executive assistant for deconstruction, Shirtique Salon, just everything. Christina just got so much going on in that level of her life. And Jen is amazing. I'm going to have her on my show soon. I'm super excited about interviewing her because she's a powerhouse in her own right. But we were all working together. Shout out to Ursula Ace. Shout out to Mike. Today was a whole vibe. And so I was just like, oh my God, I still got to do Tap In Tuesday, right? I still got to do Tap In Tuesday. Then I got a call. For those of you, I'm very transparent. Because we all go through life. And if you keep living, as the seasoned people say, just keep on living, baby, you're going to experience some things. So if you still have your mother or your father and they're getting elderly, you know that sometimes they hit that dementia peak, unfortunately. And so my mother is at the door knocking, right? And so I got a call right before I came on here for Tap In Tuesday. As I was preparing, you never know how life is going to be. You don't know what tomorrow may bring for you, right? And so you got to just meet it where it is. You got to show up and be present in the moment. And so I'm just like, oh my God, I took this call. I'm like, oh my God, I've been working all day. And I'm like, oh my God. So I thank God. Shout out to Brandy. Brandy, you probably don't even follow me, but thank you. I appreciate you. And just everybody. It takes a village. not only for when we have young children, it takes a village, but as our parents, and even when we get elderly and we get seasoned and older, we need that. And that's why it brings me to the topic tonight, timing. Timing is everything. It's everything because we don't know what tomorrow may bring for us, right? We live, we plan, and we want to do this and we want to do that, but we don't know what can happen that would stop us or distract us, right? We don't know. So I'm like, okay, be patient, still walk and have faith, because without faith, what do you have? That's rhetorical, but I can't even imagine living this life that I know about without having faith. I don't know. I don't know. I don't never want to know what it's like to live this life without faith, because there was a time when I did feel like I'm just living. I'm going to live because we're taught different things. And sometimes we have to unlearn things that we're taught because sometimes we're taught things by people who don't know. So they're ignorant to a lot of things, but they are where they are and they got there by hook or crook or chance. And so, or sometimes being led by people who don't know any better. So, you hear that saying, blind leading the blind, right? We don't want anybody blind leading us, but sometimes we think because it sounds good that it really is good and it really isn't good. You know what I mean? You don't know what a person had to go through to get to the point where you saw them on today. They can walk in and they can greet you with a smile and bubbly spirit and say, hey, and how is things going? And then you looking like, wow, like what's really going on, right? And you don't want to share energy that's not positive. Well, most of us don't. Like me, I don't like to do that. Whatever it is that I'm dealing with, I try to deal with it and keep it moving, right? Shout out to Steve, someone I met on an amazing tour the other day. Just amazing guy, down to earth, God fearing, and just has a amazing spirit on a level of you can recognize your sisters and brothers in Christ, and I recognize my brother in Christ, and I'm so grateful. But God has a way of aligning us, right? We make alignments with people, and we recognize. There's a saying, "Spirits feed spirits." Now you may be familiar, you may not be familiar. I can't tell you if you are, you are or not. I know I am. And so we don't always have to openly say that, but our actions show it. And so tonight we're going to talk about timing because it's everything, right? We can apply that to any place in life. Wherever you are at this particular moment in your journey in life, you can say timing is everything. That's real talk. That is so much real talk because we are where we're supposed to be when we're in alignment. And sometimes we're off when we're not in alignment, right? And then sometimes we experience, I like to reference this. I might be dating myself for some of you. Some of you will understand this. Sometimes we find ourselves in a Nightmare on Elm Street moment, like we're in a Nightmare on Elm Street scene, okay? When we keep revisiting the same thing over and over, and we keep revisiting over and over, and then we stop. We have a hard pause or a hard stop, and we say, "Wait a minute, this looks familiar." Not familiar like in a good way, but familiar like I've visited this before. I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to stay here, but there's a lesson. See, I firmly believe, and there's no statistics I can give you right now. There's no data I can share with you if I was going to share my screen. But I believe that we arrive where we are and we keep going in circles with the same things in life until we recognize, like, I've done this already. But when you recognize that, it's like, okay, you might have done this already, but did you get the lesson? Because I firmly believe that our Father doesn't allow us to elevate and move to the next level until we get the lesson. Because everything we're going to encounter, you need to have a lesson. It's like a blueprint, right? You need to know how to get through that situation, that circumstance, or work that system. And then God says, okay, right? Life says, okay, you know how to deal with this. So you ready for that because y'all know how it can go. We having a hard time dealing with this situation, and here come another layer, and then another level, and then another level, and then you're like, wait a minute, I'm overwhelmed, and then it takes us to that sunken place. A lot of us, I know this is May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. But mental health awareness is every day, isn't it? Isn't it 365 days a year and 366 on that leap year? Because we have to learn how to deal with situations, circumstances, people, ourselves, right? We have to learn how to deal with ourselves. There's so many things that happen in this life that we can just say, throw the whole life away. A lot of times we can say, I'm ready. I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. We want to just fold. We want to wave the white flag. And then when we wave the white flag, we think we want to wave it. Sometimes it's not enough. So you feel like I'm about to just give up on this thing called life. I don't want to do this. I don't got the patience for this. Hey, Ron. And so we just want to just say, I surrender. But don't you surrender to depression, because timing is everything. Don't surrender to giving up on your goals and your dreams, because timing is everything. Position yourself. Understand that you're going to have to do some suffering. I know you don't like that. I know that is uncomfortable. I know you said that's not what I signed up for, TT. I get it. I didn't either. I didn't either. And I don't want it. But guess what? When Jesus came and he walked this earth many, 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 many years ago, he came here to walk with us, teach us, show us how to navigate. And in this time that we live in right now in 2023, we still go through things where it's like we haven't gotten a lesson. So we're gonna continuously go in a circle, y'all. Like this microphone, this snowball microphone, it's in a circular form, right? It looks like a circular motion. I like this little head. I cut the little top out. But anyway, so it's in a circular thing, right? It's a form. And so you can't tell where this microphone starts. Like, where did it start? And when does it end? We don't know. We don't know. Life is like that. By the time we get to think we know how to master this thing called life, we on our way up out of here. Right? God said he'll give us 70 years on this earth. Right? Anything over 70, he said we're gonna suffer. He said it in his word. I can't quote you the scripture because I don't know it offhand, but it's there. Google it. Google. Now don't trust Wikipedia. Use Google or Google Scholar. When I was in college, our professors would tell us, y'all can Google, don't use Wikipedia. And if you want to be able to cite, to give references, because you could challenge me, like, well, TT, where does that say that at? I just told you I don't know off the top of my head. So I said, Google it. But better than yet, grab your Bible. How about that? Right? Grab your own Bible and just kind of go through. Or if you are led, if you have it in your library, get your concordance, your Bible concordance, and find out where it is. But you can Google timing in the Bible. What does God say about timing? Right? And look at that, right? Look at that. Because we're living in a time right now where we don't respect all the time that timing is everything. Okay. I told y'all earlier, oh my God, I was working with Christina and the team, and it was an amazing evening, work to be done, branding to be done. When I tell y'all and I'm ready for Christina Benjamin, what she get ready to do, it's a whole vibe, and you're going to be so grateful and thankful that God anointed her to do what she's getting ready to do for you guys. But I was like, oh my God, I didn't rush it because I am who I am, right? I'm an artist assistant. I'm also an assistant, right? And where I'm needed, I show up when it's necessary, when it's possible. And I don't rush it, because when God is in that thing, I got time for God. I have time for y'all. It's a little bit later, but I got time for y'all. So it was just like, you know what? I don't know if you got time for TT from the D, but I'm going to show up. Okay. I said, listen, I'm going to show up at 9:30. Hey, Melanie. That's my sister from another mother. Hi, sis. I love her. And so we show up, right? And so I said, I'm going to be up at 9:30, whether it's one person or no people. I appreciate everybody who showed up on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, through StreamYard or not. But if nobody showed up, I'm still being obedient to what I know I need to do. I have to show up because that's what I need to do. If it's technical difficulties, I'll let you know. Okay. But even if I'm on the go, I've been traveling and I'm getting ready to do a lot of work on the road. And so it's kind of like a lot of times I've been in my mind like, okay, if I'm out on somebody's tour, if I'm out doing something, how's that gonna look for TT from the D? I won't have my little fancy pull up. I can't travel with that. That's too much baggage. But I did tell myself whether I'll be like, yo, hey y'all, it's Tap In Tuesday. We going live from the car. We going live from the train. Now I don't know. Y'all know how the airplanes be. I don't know about that one. So I might have to go live when I land. Whatever that looks like. I'm gonna show up unless I can't show up. Right? If I have to say, hey, we're gonna go later tonight. Or if I have to pre-record a show, right? But timing, again, is everything. Aligning ourselves, being present in the moments in which we choose to live and participate. See, we'll show up for things that ain't got nothing to do with our purpose. We will show up for people that's not even supposed to be in our lives because we confuse things, right? I did a show this morning for my top of the morning show, the difference between thankfulness and gratitude. And sometimes we confuse the two, right? We're, oh my God, hey, thank you for the card. That's thankfulness. But you spoke a word into my life. It moved me. That's gratitude. Because let me tell you why I say the difference between that. When you show up for people, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, whatever that looks like, physically, whatever that looks like, and you do something that's not materialistic or whatever, something that's inside, internal, that gratitude is brewing. It manifests itself. When you show up and you do, oh, you bought me lunch, you bought me coffee, you gave me a ride, you rolled out with me, whatever that looks like, because it's always different. Because I am not like you are not like me, but we are one and the same. Whether you a man, a woman, we are one and the same. And so when we show up for people and we're reminded, there goes the difference. Because internally, you could do something for me and I could be like, damn, I feel grateful for that. I have gratitude in my heart. Whether I tell you that every day or I never tell you that, which I'm the type of person, I'm gonna let you know, like I'm grateful for you. And some people, they get on a different level and they just lose their humbleness. And I'd be like, damn, well, you know what? I'm gonna still respect and love you. I know who you used to be. And sometimes we get above ourselves. You remember them sayings our parents would say, don't get too smart for your britches. I'm dating myself. I'm 47, so I'm dating myself. And so sometimes we get in those seasons, we get in those zones. And that's when I'm like, okay, God will say, hey, I've allowed you to do this and that and this and that. However, when we get too mighty for us and you don't reference him because all your blessings come from him. And so I'm not here to debate with anybody. And I'm not saying that in the mindset like, well, this is my opinion, this is law. I'm not saying that. I can't tell you your faith walk, right? I can only tell you how I see God for me. Timing, aligning ourselves. You couldn't tell me years ago that I was going to be a podcaster. What? I would have been like, no, what is a podcaster? Right? Years ago, you couldn't tell me that. And so it was like, I think the itch and the joy and the love working with Dodie on 910 a few years ago, that invitation opened up a door where I realized like, I like doing that. It's fun. And so I found joy in it, right? I found joy in it. And so later on in life, Girl Bye was gone. There was no more Girl Bye. And it was like, oh, I missed that. But okay, life goes on. Like we know what to do. And so one day, shout out to Courtney Benjamin. One day I was having a label meeting with Courtney, and Courtney was like, hey, TT, you ever heard of Anchor.fm? And I'm like, no, what is that? So he explained it to me, whatever. He's like, podcasters use it. And he went on with it. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So he's like, you ever thought about being a podcaster? I was like, no. So he was like, you should think about it because you'd be great at it. And I was like, okay. He's like, me and Christina, we doing it. We got our own thing we're doing. I can show you, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. And then I went into, because money, right? Money rules a lot. It makes waves and it can destroy some ways. And so I said, well, I don't got money for that. That's not a necessity. That's not a need. It's a want if I decide to go that route. But I was like, no. He said, Anchor is free. I was like, oh. Tell me more, right? Tell me more. We love free stuff. And so he explained it to me. And then I'm like, I'm not technically in tune. Like I'm one of them people. Let's get it. I'll get on the grind and all boots on the ground. I'm that girl. But when you started talking about technology, I'm like, I do the y'all seen that meme that we use on our phones. If you have an Apple, I don't know about Android users, and no shade to y'all. I have an Android work phone, but I don't have an Android my everyday life, and I use my work phone for work only purposes, right? So my Apple, I'm like, so there is either Bart, I think it's Bart, or it could be Marge, and they when things are happening, they go back in the bushes, right? They move back in the bushes, and so when it comes to technology, I'm one of them like, ooh, I don't, ooh, like, that's not my calling. You got to know your gift. You know what you're great at. You know what you're good at. Know your gift, and so talking to Courtney, we're talking about, he's like, well, I'll be more than willing to sit down and explain how to navigate it, even do it like a Teams or a Zoom or whatever. And timing is everything, right? So weeks went on and he kept asking me, like, TT, what you think about that, the podcasting? And I'm like, I don't know, and I don't know. And I was afraid. Y'all. I was afraid. And so long and short, fear. Fear is not aligned with timing. It's just not. You can't be afraid to just leap on faith. And sometimes it'll work for you, and sometimes it won't. But you'll never know. You don't want to play the teeter totter of woulda, shoulda, coulda. You want to say, let me try it. If it doesn't work, fine. If it works, amazing, right? But we don't know until we try. And I say that to say because a lot of us are sitting on our gifts, right? Shout out, I see, I don't think Coffee Brown. I love her. I don't think she's on here anymore, but I saw her peeking. Hey, Coffee, if you were there, but I don't think you are. Ron Hillard. Shout out to Ron. He's our weatherman. Hey, on Local 4. Ron came a long way from doing what Ron does. Love him. Amazing. Amazing. Did a kick-ass job in Peerless Times, right? I don't think Ron's on there anymore either, Ron Hillard, but he's amazing. And I say timing. Somebody else I'll shout out. My sister from another mother, Melanie. Melanie Smiles. One of the baddest, dopest RNs in the city of Detroit. Hopefully you'll never have to encounter her. But if you ever go through some trauma type of stuff, you tell them, cart your ass right on over the grace. I know, don't come for me with the grace piece because I know how grace can be. However, when you know there's certain anointed and appointed people in places, you like to show up there, right? So she's someone who has led by example. And I always give her flowers because I love her. Not because she's my sister friend, but because she's shown and led by example. Hey, Yoshana, another one of my sisters from another mother. But with Melanie, she has paved the way for so many people. She's an educator. She's a sister, a friend, an amazing mother, a dope grandmother, and a friend to the end, right? Same thing for Yoshana. We go back, as people say, like big wheels, French braids, you know what I mean? Real talk. And so timing, we all are aligning ourselves the way we're supposed to because God said so. And when you have timing, see, we get afraid. I love you too, Melanie. I love you too, sis. I love you too. When we are not afraid, hey, Yoshana, kisses to you too, sis. So I'm talking. I know y'all over there, Facebook or wherever y'all looking at me from, Twitter or LinkedIn, YouTube. Y'all like, what you looking down there? Because I opened up Instagram because some people have told me before, why you don't go on live on Instagram? Because Instagram is not supported by StreamYard. Hey, StreamYard. Y'all might want to go ahead and invite Instagram over to y'all world because this is my way of doing it. I just have this app going so people that do not partake in Facebook activities can enjoy over there in Instagram world. So anyway, that's my explanation. I like to explain stuff. It's like before you whoop your child's butt, I'm one of them parents. Before I tear your ass up, let me tell you why I'm going to do it. Right? I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it. Because I don't want you to think I just feel like I'm about to spank you. No. And we've talked about it. We've talked ourselves into her. Okay, now you know why we arrived here, right? We arrived here because you didn't do this. And I had a refreshed I had this conversation and I asked Cody, I said, when you was little, my 13-year-old, I said, when you were little and I would have to spank you, did I just spank you? Or did I explain why I was spanking you? Or before I'll get ready to spank you? He was like, yeah, you would tell me. Right. And before I explain it, timing, remember timing is everything, right? It goes with that. So I've already asked you not to do, or I've instructed you not to do, and you were not obedient. And so I explained that there's consequences, and this is the level one, and then there's the level two, and then we've escalated. It's just like a call. When you call customer service, you complaining, what they tell y'all, we're gonna send this to the escalation team. Get me over there because I ain't got time for that. And so I said, I like to let you know what we're doing. I don't like to catch people off guard. I want you to know how we moving so you can understand what's going on. I don't want people to say, well, I had no idea. Because for me, I'm going to be looking at you like, come on, sis. Come on, bro. What? I'm not just going to come in and just do it unless I came in to clean house. Now, if Van brought me on board to clean house, I don't got to explain to you. Because obviously, people have already explained to you, and you ain't listening. And they ain't brought my ass in. And so when I come in, I come to clean up. Or I come on board to join the team. It's one or the other. When I show up, I'm on board to create, I'm on board to join the team, or I'm on board to clean house. Them three reasons I come. I don't just show up because I ain't got shit to do, right? Timing. And I know some of y'all grieved in y'all spirit. You're like, oh my God, she's cussing. Y'all know. I'm not I used to be like a sailor cussing, but I've gotten better and I pray on it all the time because I feel like we can convey our conversations and get our point across without all the cussing. And sometimes I do it just in passing, like, and sometimes I'm like, I'm intentional with my cussing. Like just a few minutes ago, I was intentional with my cussing on purpose. Like I'm for real about what I'm saying. So timing, y'all probably like timing. Why are you horning in on that, TT? Because everybody has an appointed time for everything that you're going to do in your life. I'm going to tell you that. If ain't nobody else told you that, I'm going to remind you that. Maybe nobody said it. So you're like, you're not reminding me, TT. No, I'm advising you. Timing is everything. Don't give up on your goals and your dreams. Whatever it is that you've been diligent about, and you said, you know what? I feel that thing in me feel powerful when I do that. But people have probably told you, that's stupid. That's dumb. Why are you doing that? How many people have said that? Rhetorical question. I don't need y'all to answer that. Some people say, well, why would you do that? That's stupid. I'm going to tell you this, and I can say this humbly and transparently. A couple of my sisters from another mother, I won't say who they are, because I don't want to put them out there like that. If they want to say, I remember that, cool, because I'm all good for it, but I won't say who it is. Because I've had a couple of sisters have done this. I've had a couple of brothers from other mothers and fathers have done this. Stepped out on faith, walked away from 6-figure jobs. And I'm like, why? Why would you do? Are you crazy? Like, wait. And then they was like, God told me to do it. That's where that saving grace come in, because I recognize what that looked like when God tells us to do something. I know what it looks like when we are told to do something by God and we don't do it too. Because I've been disobedient plenty of times. I'm hard-headed as hell sometimes. But as I've gotten wiser and older in my older age, because I'm maturing and seasoning myself with a little bit of sprinkle, I know what it looks like when you're obedient. I know what it looks like when you're not obedient. I've chosen to be obedient. I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. When he say move, move. Because think about this, y'all. We move when a man or a woman tell us different situations and circumstances. We be amped up or we just good because, but when God tell us something and we know it's him, we act like, was that really God? And you do have to question that because you know the adversary here is just like God. However, you know when the Father is telling you, he's so intentional. He's so direct. He's not coming disguised. He does not have to fool us. He gives us direction. When we ask our Father for something and we are unintentional, you get what you ask for. So when you ask God, show me the way, I need direction, show me a sign. And God give you all these signs by people and things and situations, right? And y'all act like y'all don't see it because you be like, I don't know. I don't know. You like, I don't know. I don't know. You know. You know you seen it. You know you heard it. You know the purpose was there. You intentionally turned your back. And then you wonder later why you got to go through what you got to go through. And I always make jokes about this to people. I say, it ain't like God gonna say, uh-uh. Let me come out of heaven and say, you know what? I did that for you. You asked me for it. Didn't I get us? Ain't that what you asked me for? And then we get mad sometimes because we're like, well, I prayed about it and God ain't do this and this and that. Have you thought back after you didn't get your way? Because some of us are spoiled brats in the spirit. You sat back years later and said, or months later, or weeks later, or days later. It don't got to take a long time. What's for you is for you. What's not for you is not for you. But some of us have discovered that what he does for us, we sit back and be like, damn, man, if he had allowed me to do that, and we got to say, thank you, Lord. Because he sees, he knows all, he sees all. Some of y'all think y'all done all the things you've done all by yourself. You get all the glory, you give yourself all the praises. And you're like, I did that. You do got to do the work in the world, yeah. But where your source come from? That's what I'm talking about. You do, you man, woman, boy, girl, you got to do the work. But God can give you what you need, and he does. But what do you do when he gives it to you? I'm so sad that my phone died on my Instagrammers. I'm so sad because I know this is getting good. I started seeing people coming on, and I've been working and I had my phone all day. I'm so sad. I'm so sad because there was people engaged over there. Lord, that ain't nothing but the devil. And I'm sad. I'm really sad about that. My heart. I don't even have my power cord down here in the studio with me for me to do my phone. Mm-hmm. My spirit telling me I might do something a little different later for them. But for those of you that are still watching me, if you are on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, God shows up for us all the time. And I might get emotional, so I'm not going to apologize if I do. Timing. Even when it's rough. I just lost an aunt. I just lost my dad's last sister, last sibling. My dad was the only boy. But it was so deep for me the other day when I learned that my aunt passed. I thought, wow, like my aunt lives in another state. Always had love and respect for her. Saw her whenever she came here. Went to St. Louis only one time in my life. Not for my dad's side of the family, but for my mother's side, I went one time. So I've been to St. Louis twice. And I thought on a deep level, I said, dang. My grandmother, Mama Nez, is gone. My grandfather, Granddaddy Kenny is gone. My father is gone. My Aunt Ruth is gone. My Aunt Bobanelle is gone. Now my Aunt Jean is gone. I said, that's a whole family. Immediate family. And then I thought about it because I like to use metaphors and I use examples a lot. And I said, that's like riding up the street and you see a mother and a father outside with their children. There you are. You had 4 kids. Y'all are playing. And you ride by the house many years later. And then you realize that whole first generation of family is gone. They left this life, right? Timing. But they were able, outside of my one aunt, my Aunt Ruth never had any biological kids, but she loved on many of us, nieces and nephews, like I can imagine if we were on our own. She taught us things. She loved us. And she was always that one aunt you could go and talk to about anything. She didn't judge us. She met us where we was. We all have our own memories and different thoughts of our relatives, right? They imprint on us differently. And so when I learned my aunt, God bless her, shout out to my cousin Ty. I love my cousins. I love my family, my dad's family, my mother's family. But shout out to my cousin Ty because he makes sure that I stay in tune and then, up on what's going on. And so I learned from my cousin Ty, then I talked to my cousin Beaver. And I learned that my aunt was 90, just turned 90 this year. And I told my cousin, I said, it's a beautiful thing because God said in his word that he promises 70 years. Now, a lot of, we know people that left this life as babies, as toddlers, as children, adolescents, teenagers, young adults, seasoned adults, and of course the elderly. I don't remember exactly how old I was when I started to understand life, the lifespan. I think it had a lot to do with me when I was going to school, working on my criminal justice degree. I had a class, and I believe it was culture. It could have been culture or the lifespan, like life stages of life. It was something that was aligned to that. I can't remember the name of the class, but I remember learning the lifespan. And I looked at life differently because I recognized and I understood what I saw in my life. The very first person to ever leave this life, and I learned about death that was so heartbreaking for me, was my grandmother, Mama Inez, my dad's mother, because she helped raise me. And it was like she was she was a true grandmother. She was classy and she was firm. She was stubborn, and some would say she was mean, but she was loving. She was compassionate and she was about her business. And she taught me a lot. At a young age, I was just telling my cousin, one of my cousins the other day, I said, grandma would tell me things, and because I was, I had a real grandma. My grandma was in her 70s. And so when I was a little girl, so I had a for real grandma. And I learned a lot. Like I said, loved her. She loved me and taught me a lot. And I remember one day asking her as a little girl, like, why do you tell me these things? This is aligned with timing. She said, because baby, when you get old enough to need to know this, I won't be here. And I said, what do you mean grandmas live forever? And she said, oh no, baby, grandmas don't live forever. She said, one day I'm gonna go on to be with God. I said, but I don't want you to go on to be with God. I want you to stay with me. And she said, no, no. She said, we all gonna have to go. And then she started talking to me about how you could tell when God's closer and seasons of life and all these things. And it got scary, to be honest. I remember feeling nervous, like, oh my God, I don't want to die. I don't want her to die. And, you know, and it was just like when she left this life, it was just like I looked at life differently. My faith walk, I was told about my faith walk. See, my grandmother made me go to church on Sundays with her. When I had to spend the night or the weekend with my grandma, Mama Nan's made sure I got on that bus and we went to visit Mother Thomas Church. And it was like, all I loved about Sunday, because I didn't know nothing about no Bible. And I didn't go to Sunday school with the kids. I sat up there between mama, grandmama, and mama and Mother Thomas. And I'm sitting there and they talking in scripture form. Thou shalt not. I'm like, I didn't know what the heck thou shalt. I ain't have no idea. I'm sitting there like, all I know is I'm thinking about them biscuits grandma baked this morning because she made them from scratch. And I'm like, hey, grandma will wake me up with that aroma of that smell on Sunday mornings at her house, right? And so I started to think back like my faith walk wasn't what it was. When she left this life, I could care less. And I was mad at God because I was like, how you a God know all the see all, and you gonna take my grandma? What? So I was like, mm-mm. So I stopped going to church. I stopped praying. I stopped doing all that. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say to God. He mean. He took my grandmother. I love my mama Naz, and I love her to this day. I'm 47 years old. I still cry. I still miss her. I still can hear her voice in my head all these years. I've saved it in my box. I've saved it in my I saved it in my data box. And so in my mind, and I thank God for memory. And so, but I learned as I've gotten older, timing is everything. We walk with life and you keep living, as the elderly people say. And now I say to young people, I'm 47. So I find myself saying those things. And although I'm only 47, I've always felt old, right? And I think it's because my first cousins were older than me. Shout out to all my first cousins, right? I probably was a pain in their ass, but they loved on me. They protected me. They taught me a lot. I have a cousin, all my cousins, I love them no matter where we are in this life. But one particular cousin, my cousin Carol, taught me some things about womanhood as a child that I will never forget. I'll always be grateful for. However, I understand timing, right? And we live life and we get distance in life and we grow. That don't mean we don't love. We live different. We move differently, right? And you keep navigating. You keep navigating. I got an older cousin, Bobby Inez. Amazing. Classy reminds me of my grandmother, Mama Inez, so much. When I look at her or I talk with her, wisdom, beautiful. Just it's so much you learn. Timing. In my darkest, one of my darkest points of life is watching my father get ready to make a transition. Timing. You learn all these things, these caveats of life. Because we get older, y'all. One day I'm gonna be older, like my dad and my grandmother and all of them. And someone, hopefully, one of my nieces or nephews or my children will look and say, I remember Auntie TT said this, or Mama said this. You know, my sister said that for my siblings because they're a little bit younger than me. And they'll look and say, okay, this is what she said. And they'll hear something. My friends, my sister friends, people that I've imprinted upon, or those that imprinted upon me. Timing, aligning ourselves, positioning ourselves. There's so many people, and I talked about this in my top of the morning show this morning. Gratitude, thankfulness, two different things, yet we box them up and we put them in the same boat together. They're not the same. They're not the same, but they're similar. And when you have a gift, there's a need for it because God gave you a gift to share with the world. It's not for you to hold on to yours. So whatever God has strengthened you and conditioned you to share with the world, you're supposed to share with people. You're not supposed to hold on to it. I know some of y'all are stingy with your spirits and some with your gifts. And some of y'all are guarded because some of y'all also are manipulators. You manipulate people to get what you want. You hold on to people because you see where they're going in life and you want to ride their coattail, but you don't want to do no damn work. I don't have no respect for y'all. Those of you that do that, I don't got no respect for y'all. I ain't gonna say nothing to you, but I ain't got no respect for you because you don't respect the fact that we all must work. We all have to. You understand that saying? You probably didn't heard this phrase: "Iron sharpens iron." Okay, we gonna pay our dues now. We all gotta pay our dues. We all gotta pay our dues, right? Don't cut no corners. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you don't cut no corners because you need to know everything about your gift that you have. You need to know how it works when it works, and you need to know how it works when it don't work. You need to know how it really works when people see it, and you need to know how it really works when people don't see it. If you cut corners and you cheat yourself, you not only cheat yourself, but you cheat people, right? You cheat people of your gift. You hold a key to somebody's future like somebody holds the key to your present, and somebody holds the key to your future. But when we become selfish in life and we don't understand alignment of timing, because timing is everything. There's so many people I've talked with, several people that you know in the world, because we don't all know each other. We don't know each other. Some of y'all I've never met in my life, and some of y'all will never meet me in your life. However, some of us know people, but there are some people that we know from media, the entertainment world, whatever it looks like. I know of, and I've had the pleasure of talking to several people that you would know on a national level that have told me just when they was about to give up, they got that call, which brings me to timing, intentionality, being intentional, speaking life into you, whatever it is that you believe in, positive mindsets, creating that atmosphere for yourself, creating that moment. You are your biggest cheerleader. You are your biggest supporter. You are your biggest believer. Yeah, some people gonna ride your coattail because they want to know where you going, because they want to go with you. They don't want to do no work. They just want to roll with you. Okay. And some people gonna come out and roll their sleeves up and say, "What we doing? Where we going? What needs to get done?" I'm one of them people. Unfortunately, some people know I'm one of them people, and unfortunately, because I'm empathetic, a lot of times I've been used by people, and I got a saying, and I'm gonna say this today, so I don't gotta say it tomorrow. But just as a reminder, if I need to repeat it, I will in the future. Use me for all that God has given me to give to you, because I don't know what I hold for you. However, let me be clear about this. Don't use me. There's a difference. I'm telling you to use me, but don't use me. Okay, now TT, you contradicting yourself. No, I'm not. You need to know the two differences between the two words. It's the same meaning, TT. It's the same meaning. Yes and no. If I'm telling you I got gifts that can accentuate the beauty of already who you are, allow me to use my gift. Whether you're going to pay me for that service, and in today's time, I paid enough dues, now I charge for my services, and my price is my price. Sometimes I will negotiate, sometimes I won't, because I know my worth. I no longer feel like people gonna tell me my worth, because you can't. I can't tell you your worth, and I would never try to tell nobody their worth because I don't know your worth. I can say there is no price I could put on your job or no price I could put on who you are, because honestly, there isn't. When you are great in whatever you do, if you are a great friend, a great employer, and great employee, who gonna put a price tag on you? Some of y'all put yourselves up for sale though. Not saying because you put a price on your service, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some of y'all sell your souls and you don't even know you're doing it. Some of y'all make a pact with the devil and you don't even know you're doing it, because you're looking for the one with the pitchfork, the red suit, the horns in their head. You're looking for that. But the devil could look like you and me. I'm talking to somebody. The devil could look like you and me. But here's the other piece to that. When you are walking in alignment in your timing, your spirit will recognize it. Some of y'all recognize it and you like this. You know you see it, but you like this. You know you see your family member using you, but you like this. You know you see your friend using you, but you like this. Why? Rhetorical. Why? Because they share your bloodline? You better get over that shit. And let me tell you why. Your blood will do you in worse than an enemy. Your enemy and a stranger will support you sometimes more than your friend will or your family will. And you might say, how, TT? You already know how, because you've complained about it before. You've spoken it into the atmosphere, right? I ain't telling y'all nothing y'all don't know. Now, I might be saying some stuff that's kind of cutthroat, but guess what? I'm not here to blow smoke up your butt. We don't need me to lie to y'all. We don't need me to lie to y'all. I'm going to post that. Little Bits Love LLC says sad, but so true. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's sad, but it's true. But it's what we see in this life we live. But that don't mean you switch up who you are. Stay authentic. Stay true to you. You don't owe nobody in this world nothing, sister. You don't owe nobody in this world nothing, brother. You don't. You owe you everything. Why? Because God gifted you with the life that you have. Whatever time we got in this earth, you don't know it. I don't know it. I don't want to know it. We would drive ourselves mentally insane, spiritually insane if we was to walk around like, oh my God, is this my day? It's today. I'm going to meet my demise. Oh my God. Like, wait, no. That's why God said, no, man ain't going to know. Not that he gonna sneak up and take you, but God has a way of saying, listen, live your life on time. That's why I said timing is everything. Live your life to the best of your ability. That's all he can ask for you. Does God want you to be perfect? No. Do you want to be perfect? I don't know. Do I want to be perfect? No. No. Do I think I'm holier than thou? Y'all know, TT. No. I love who I love. I love what I love. I love to do what I do. My gift makes room for me. I'm meeting amazing people. God is blowing my mind. He's not even started really yet. But what I know is just because I finally showed up for myself. I show up for everybody else. And if you know me, you already know I do. I ain't tooting my horn. I'm not saying that arrogantly, but if you've worked with me, if you know me, you know I'm gonna show up. If you need me, you know I got you. If I'm available, if I'm free, if I'm able, but it's a different level of if you need me. Going back to reflecting of use me because God not gonna let who he made me run dry. So you're not really using me. You are allowing me to use my gift because I have a servant's heart. You all have a servant's heart. We all have a servant's heart. Some of our hearts get tainted. Some of us walk around and we jaded eyed. You envious of what he got. You're envious of what she got. Why you can't have what they have? Now let me tell you why you can't have it. Because you lazy. You don't want to put in no work. You want it to fall in your lap. You want somebody just to come out and give it to you on a platter. It don't always work like that. Sometimes people are lucky enough to say, oh my God, it's like this, just. But let me tell you the other side to that. It's a blessing because God uses people every single day to do things in your life supernaturally and naturally. But we don't always give God the honor and the praise and the glory, and that's okay. And I'm going to tell you why it's okay. Because some of y'all be like, no, it's not okay. It's okay because you don't got to talk with me. I don't have to talk with you. This relationship you have needs to get aligned with your timing because we don't know about tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring. However, if you in the moment, be present in your moment. Whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, whatever your gift is, sharpen your iron. Sharpen your iron. Invest in yourself. I just did an amazing photo shoot. An amazing photo shoot. Some of y'all have seen some of my photos. A lot of y'all have liked it. A lot of y'all have seen it and you can just scroll past like, oh, okay. And it's all good because I don't need the likes. I like it. I like it. That's all that matters. I'm going to keep on giving y'all content. I'm going to keep on coming back harder and harder. Not because I'm proving nothing to y'all. I'm proving it to me. I'm worthy to see myself the way I envision it. In my mind, it's amazing. But if I don't put it out in the world, I can't even see the things that I see in my mind. Point, and I'm going to get ready to wind it down. We're not going over this hour because we already started at 9:30 and it's late. I got to work tomorrow. I know y'all got to work. Y'all got other things to do, got places to be, people to see. I looked at it years ago. I had said to myself, it was on my bucket list. I said, one day I'm going to meet David and Tamela Mann. They funny. Tamela Mann voice is anointed. I didn't know when that was going to happen, if it was going to happen. I just said it because I believe it, right? I also said years ago, I auditioned for Sesame Street Live many, many, many years ago before I even really got into the entertainment world. I did it just, I don't even know why I did it. I did it and it was fun, but I was like, okay. I knew, and I hadn't did stage management. I knew nothing about none of that production. I didn't know nothing about none of that. I wasn't an actress. I wasn't a hip hop dancer or choreographer. I wasn't none of the things I've wore these hats for in life, right? I wasn't none of that. I just tried something new. And I remember looking after we didn't make the cut because they told you they don't play them games. They tell you right now, yeah, sorry, you didn't. Okay, so I didn't make it, right? Because I couldn't sing. So it is what it is. So I remember standing there looking at that stage and I said, one day I'm going to work on the stage for the Fox Theater. I remember saying that. This was in the 90s, y'all. Working with Courtney Benjamin and Beth allowed me my very first opportunity to work in the Fox behind the stage, but not on the stage, like not on the headset. Okay. And I had the opportunity of also that evening meeting Jesse Jackson. What? God will put you in places because of your gift will make room. Okay. Moving forward, I've been to the Fox a couple more times, okay, behind stage. Just the other night, Courtney was like, hey, what you got to do Friday? Now I work for Courtney, right? I'm his assistant. So I'm like, what you need me to do, where we need to be, or whatever. And so he said, I'm invited to David and Tamala Mann's concert. So, I'm like, Iris, you serious? I'm like, well, they got a ticket for your executive assistant. Like, what's up? Or, and I didn't know. And he was like, you all set. I'll see you tomorrow. What? So it wouldn't work though. So I got there and I'm sharing this and I'm saying timing is everything, right? Speaking things into existence. Shout out to Dr. Letitia Nicole Beatty. Okay. She's big on speaking life, right? And so got to the venue, met Jacayla Carr and Tasha Cobbs and a couple other people. Here was David Mann was hosting. Okay. So everybody taking pictures. And I don't like to crowd people because I understand what that's like when I work with artists. Sometimes they just need to navigate and they can't, and it's our job as artist assistants and being in that position, we have to make sure the artists get through. The artists are not rude. The artists are not stuck up. They're not arrogant. They love y'all. However, they got places and time. When I tell you we be having an agenda at this time, it could be like 8:05, they need to be here, 8:15, they need to be here. That's for us to know. The artists don't necessarily always know that. That's not their problem. They need to go be an artist. Artist assistants and managers and tour managers, that's our job, right? So we need to professionally, kindly, humbly move the artists along. So I remember I approached this past weekend. So I approached David Mann and I said, Mr. Mann, I said, do you mind after you're done hosting if I could get a photo with you? He said, what's wrong with now? I said, well, because I know you're in your element. And he said, come on, humble. I was like, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm over by the bay doors. It's all good. Everybody walking in. I see some women walking in. I dress women as queens because we all are queens, right? Some of y'all don't even know you're a queen, but you are. And if I see you in the future, I'm going to remind you that you are. You can frown and roll your eyes and act like she ain't talking to me. I am talking to you, just don't recognize. You don't know who you are just yet. So anyway, moving on. So I spoke to the first queen and she was like, hey, how you doing? I said, oh my God, it's Tamala Mann. So I was like, hello, queen. She said, hello, put her hand on mine and went on. And I was like, wow, she's beautiful. And she came back and put her hand back on mine and walked off. And I thought to myself, what was that about? I felt such an anointing. And I said, my Lord. I thought about it as I watched her perform that night, Friday night. I spoke this into existence. God allowed my gift to make room for me, but Courtney opened up that door. And it's the gift that I have that I work for him. And he's a brother from another mother, but it was like alignment, timing. And then fast forward, I always wanted to meet Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle. Again, working with Courtney. Now, this time I'm in work mode, going in with Beth. Shout out to Beth. Love her. She's an amazing artist. Definitely deserved to be up on that stage with Patti and Gladys. I met a lot of amazing people that night. I got to watch them. And I'm like, Lord, He will put you in places that you can only imagine. But going back to what I said, timing is everything. Do not quit on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. Keep going the distance. I promise you, it will work for you. Well, that's all I got for y'all tonight, y'all. We had an hour and it's been late. It's been late. It's been late. I didn't want to disappoint and let y'all down. Not that y'all was looking for me at 8 o'clock, but just in case you were, I showed up at 9:30. I hope that you've enjoyed this segment. Join me next week because I'm going to have the Women in Podcast and Radio Takeover of some amazing artists. You're getting ready to see the promotions hit the social media waves, so you will see who I'm bringing. And we have an amazing show lined up. Tune in tomorrow morning for another top of the morning show by checking out TT from the D on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio Podcast, Anchor.fm, and my YouTube page. I'll see you soon. I'm going to end us with, let's see, I got a couple of things in my little library. I think I want to end us with, yay, Get to Know Me by Beth from her album, Get to Know Me. And then I will move on to A Man by Everard Cassidy.
Carry so much on your shoulder. It's time to show you what a real love is. Forget the past, baby, let's move forward. I can give you what you're missing. Push you toward your vision. I just wanna be a team. That's just who I am. Gotta show you what I mean. Won't you come with me? Come on and let's get away. Let's get away for the day. Don't you hesitate to say what you wanna do. When you be wanna take a load off, one you wanna show off, you just let me, baby. Baby, won't you let me? I'll be all that you need. Baby, just let me be. There's nobody that can give it to you like I do, and I can prove that to you. I just wanna pamper you. Yes, I do. It's all about you. My priority is to be a dream come true. So anytime you need that, I'll do it just for you. Baby, it's all about you. So boy, won't you come with me? Come on and let's get away. Let's get away for the day. And don't you hesitate to say what you wanna do. Baby, won't you let me be? I wanna, you just let me. Baby, if you let me, baby, won't you let me? I wanna be everything you'll ever need. If you let me be, let me be, oh let me be, oh well, let me be your everything. Let me be everything I ever need. Yeah, if you let me be, baby, if you let me be the one to love. Let me be the one to hold you. Let me be my baby.
They say you can't do both. You be up on TV, then singing them songs you wrote. Boy, you better pick one thing, 'cause we ain't trying to hear you sing. I ain't never hurt nobody, yeah. But time and time again, they try me, yeah. If that makes me a bad person, well maybe you're the one who's hurting. Why you gotta hurt me so good? I will not be misunderstood. I won't let you break me again, 'cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Sometimes they try to break you down. They see you loving life, or this is upside down. Listen to me. Sometimes it works, but them's the times. I gotta put me first. I ain't never hurt nobody. Yeah. I am who I am. They can't take that away from me. Look to the one who made you who you are. You're a star, and you're gonna go far. Why you gotta hurt me so good? I will not be misunderstood. I won't let you break me again, 'cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Hey, hey, amen. Hey, hey, amen. Hey, hey, amen. Stronger now. Let the church say amen. Why you gotta hurt me so good? Why you? I will not be misunderstood. No. Yeah. I won't let you break me again, 'cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Why you gotta hurt me so good? Amen. I will not be misunderstood. I won't let you break me again, 'cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Hey, amen. Hey, amen. I think that'll work.